Hello, I'm Mary Lou Redding, the former editorial director of the Upper Room magazine and an Upper Room book author. I'm here today to talk to you about creating a life with God in these difficult times. As a context for what I want to say, I want to tell you a little bit about the spiritual practices that have been a part of my life. I've been on a conscious journey with Christ for many, many years. During that time, I've practiced many of the disciplines that most believers practice. I have always been a person of prayer. I have kept a spiritual journal for more than 40 years. I've been part of a small discipleship group with 3 other women for almost 20 years. One of them for almost 20 years. The others have changed over the time. And I have practiced centering prayer, which is wordless prayer that allows me to sit in God's presence and allow God's presence to fill me. All of those practices have been the mainstays of my spiritual journey. So when we came into this time of self-isolation, I thought I would be just fine because I'm always just fine. I couldn't see any reason why this would be different. So about a week or so into the isolation process, I began having difficulty sleeping. I became aware that I was having difficulty breathing, that I felt as if I had a weight on my chest, as if I weren't able to fully inflate my lungs, and this was particularly bad at night when I lay down to try to sleep. I also would lie awake for literally hours, which is uncharacteristic of me. If I can't sleep, something is wrong. I remember one time standing beside my bed and looking down at the pillow and thinking, oh, it's going to feel so good to get into that bed. And the next thing I knew, it was morning. I believe I was literally asleep before I got into bed. That's how I have always slept, deeply, easily, and immediately. So when I wasn't sleeping, I knew that something was wrong. After a week or so of this, I decided I should call my doctor. So I called my doctor and we talked about what was going on with me. And at the end of that conversation, he suggested that I probably needed to be on an anti-anxiety medication and that I needed to be on asthma medication for the first time in decades. So I began those. And I found about a week and a half into the process that I woke up one morning feeling like myself again, able to focus, having had a good night's rest, being able to do what I needed to do. And I realized that the medication had taken effect just as the doctor had said it would. And of course, that's proof that I needed it. I have always believed that I am not on this journey alone, that God is there. But I have not always consciously thought that one of my companions on that journey, that God supplies, one of the resources available to me is medication. And I found myself struggling, wishing that I didn't need medication, wishing that I could be more spiritually mature and able to handle everything that was happening without that kind of intervention. But I have slowly come to realize that that too is God's provision. It's a resource that God offers us in difficult times. So I've always known I had companions on the journey. I just hadn't thought of medication as one of them. But now I begin to see that it can be for some people. And whatever you need in this part of your spiritual journey, I trust that God is waiting and willing to provide it. I hope that when you reach out for God, you will find God there, and I trust that will be so. God bless you.